Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Code Realize, Guardian of Rebirth. We are still following Lupin, and let's see, Saint Germain is taking a walk with us tonight, and I'm really hoping he's not going to try to kill me because, he's telling us about Idea. So let's see what's going on, and you can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Idea is currently very interested in your existence. Me? Saint Germain stops. Yes, Idea believes that you are a mistake that must be removed. Before I can ask him what he means by that, I notice the tense expression on his face. He's looking ahead at an elderly woman seated in a wheelchair, and another woman wearing a full suit of plate armor. The moonlight shines down upon them. The elderly woman has a kind smile, in contrast to the blank expression on the armored woman's face. There had been no one there a second ago. It seems that Saint Germain has gone ahead and told you most of it. I feel that he's stolen our thunder. Who are you? I ask her cautiously. I am Omnibus, the leader of Idea. I have come to kill you. What? Kill me? The words seem unreal to begin with, but to hear them from the mouth of a kindly old lady makes them seem even more surreal. Isaac Beckford's daughter, and the one who is the key to initiating Code Realize. An eternal war spanning all nations, overseen by an absolute power. In order for Father to be reborn as a supreme power, he needs my spirit vessel. And, sister, your heart. He needs the horologium. This person must know about the plan Finis spoke of. I become uneasy, knowing that she is aware of who I am, and I feel my palms grow sweaty. The two of you are Isaac's cursed children. Neither of you should be allowed to exist in this world. You will derail mankind from its ordained history, causing a great disaster. That is what you siblings will do. As one who guards history, I cannot simply overlook this. As Omnibus says this, the armored woman takes a step forward. At the same time, please, Saint Germain, defend us. Saint Germain steps in front of me. Yay! My hero. What is the meaning of this? Saint Germain simply stares quietly, yet resolutely at the two newcomers. I have finally made up my mind. You're going to protect her. Perhaps you have grown too attached. I won't deny that. However, more than that, I want to believe. Even if our existence is a mistake, the path she walks upon could not be one. Saint Germain quickly flicks his wrist, and a blade snaps out of his sleeve. Oh, so cool! The woman facing him pulls a huge sword from a scabbard at her back and takes a fighting stance. You're saying that she is worth betraying us for? Yes, she is. At least to me. Oh god, why does this have to be on Lupin's route? The atmosphere is extremely tense. I still don't quite understand the situation, and I'm about to try to reason with them when Omnibus speaks again. Saint Germain, Guinevere, can the both of you please put your weapons away? So the woman's name is Guinevere. She obeys Omnibus's suggestion and immediately stows her sword. Seeing her react this way, I can tell that Omnibus's words are absolute to her. Saint Germain puts his blade away as well. You two are important assets to the forces of Idea. Now that Isaac's plan is in motion, I have no intention of losing you. Oh, thank goodness. Then you'll allow her to go. That's not what I said. I'm just going to change my approach. Omnibus's wheelchair begins to move on its own. She stops in front of me and offers me a small bag. What is this?
Just a simple poison. If you take it, your death will be comfortable.
Poison? I hesitate, then look at Omnibus. You want me to kill myself with this?
I certainly would appreciate it if you would. I won't force you. However, a time will come when you yourself will have need of that poison. If you fall into Isaac's hands, the world will be engulfed in the flames of a never-ending war.
I don't know what to do. What Omnibus says is most likely true. If Father's plan requires the horologium, then my death would be the most certain and least risky way to prevent it from getting into his hands.
What do you say?
I'll hang on to it. I quietly take the small bag from her and hold it in my palm. I don't even want to consider the possibility, but the chances are great that I will come to need this sometime soon.
Are you sure?
I'm just taking it. I don't need to use it. I smile at him so he doesn't worry. A new god, overseeing an eternal war. It's probably better that I take the poison along with me than risk bringing something like that into the world. It'll be my final backup measure. It won't be a problem. Saint Germain stares at me for a moment, then eventually nods.
All right, if you're fine with this. Saint Germain, the world faces an unprecedented crisis. We have need of your strength for what is to come. I'd like you to be an ally until the end.
A breeze blows through the area. I'm distracted for a moment, and in the next second, Idea has disappeared.
Miss Cardia.
Saint Germain looks at me, concerned. I'm fine. I look at him and smile. Thank you for protecting me.
No, I wasn't able to protect you. I haven't been able to erase any of the things that bring you pain.
He says this with a melancholic smile. Oh. My mind wanders. As I lay in bed in a daze, Victor was considerate enough to bring me some special sleeping goods from the mansion, so I'm free to toss and turn. Thanks to that, laying down should be a comfortable affair. And yet, I can't sleep. It's probably only natural, considering everything that's just transpired. In the end, after some thought, I decide to go outside once more to feel the cool night air. Second walk in the same night? Are we gonna go walk with somebody else now? Are we gonna take a walk with each of the characters tonight? I walk around aimlessly, then settle down in a space between two shops. There is an endless stream of steam and metallic sounds from a nearby factory. It's hard to believe that this place is currently in the middle of a war. What's that saying? The calm before the storm. I mumble to myself, then I put a hand in my pocket and pull out the item I had put in there. The poison Omnibus gave me. Under the moonlight, the small bag cast a shadow upon my palm. If I take this, I will die. Is death really accurate when it comes to me? I waste time thinking about this pointless distinction, but I can tell that I'm only trying to avoid the real issue. Even this musing is disturbed by the sound of muffled explosions in the distance. The noise snaps me back to reality. Even now, as I sit here in contemplation, people are fighting and getting hurt, even losing their lives. That's when I notice for the first time. My arm is trembling. My entire body is trembling, actually. I find myself fearing the reality of death that faces me. And while I am thinking about these worries, a particular thought comes to me. I am afraid to die. My voice sounds so utterly cold and detached, it's hard to believe that it's my own.
Hey, what are you doing out here? You should stay put in your own room.
I was lost in my own thoughts and didn't notice anyone approach me. I look up to see Lupin, who looks a little annoyed. I quickly hide the small bag that I have been holding so he doesn't notice it. Lupin, why did you come out here?
Same to you. You shouldn't be out alone. So, what is it? Did something happen?
What?
Don't you what me? You look like you're about to burst into tears.
It's nothing. You're imagining things. Lupin stares at me for a moment, then mutters,
If you say so.
I'm ashamed of myself for considering taking my own life so easily, thinking back on all the things Lupin's done for me. I feel another wave of self-loathing come over me. He's a wonderful man who has saved me. His kindness and sincerity are like a ray of light that shines upon everyone around him. I really think that he's the complete opposite of me. Thoughts like these cause a prickly pain in my heart.
You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. And then, I guess, I'll just take a little break here too.
He doesn't criticize me for leaving my room. He simply sits down next to me. And I know why he would do something like this for me, and what it means. I understand it perfectly. Right now he's trying to console me because I looked so sad. He doesn't even ask for an explanation. He's sitting close by. He's demonstrated his kindness to me any number of times now. He doesn't have to say anything at all for me to understand what his intentions are. Lupin, that's why. That's the very reason why I can't help but ask him about it. Why have you done so much for me? Perhaps I'm being a little too vague, as Lupin looks at me suspiciously. It doesn't make sense. I don't bother explaining myself. The words simply pour out of me, goaded on by my emotions. My poison and my secret, they don't have anything to do with you. My hands clenched into fists. I want him to understand how I feel, but I'm not able to find the right words to describe it. This slight sense of indignation makes my words all the more forceful. I don't understand why you would go through all you've done to help me. I don't see why you're risking your life for me. But even after I tell him everything, he simply smiles his usual smile and shrugs his shoulders.
Why am I helping you? Because I'm a hero. Isn't that good enough for you?
This causes an inexplicable anger to build up inside me. What do you mean, hero? Is that really a good enough reason for you to get hurt? I'm desperate. Finis and Omnibus. Recalling what they told me flusters me even more. This mission could cost you your life, right? There's a chance you might die. I'm a doll, a monster, merely a tool for the Horologium to be transformed. My existence is an insult to humanity. I shouldn't be allowed to live. Just being alive brings misfortune to those around me. I'm happy that you would save me. I'm so thankful more than words can express, but you might die. I'm shouting now, pummeling him with all the fear that has been lying in my heart. Why would you do that for me? Why? The anger turns to sadness, trapped within my heart, unable to find release. Why?
I have 2 reasons.
When Lupin finally breaks the silence, his voice is soft.
The first one, you're right. This is your fight, but it's mine as well.
He looks me right in the eyes, like he did that night, long ago, when he stole me away. I can see the moon reflecting in his eyes.
As I've said before, this terrorist plot isn't completely unrelated to myself.
He continues, though he seems a little hesitant.
I got the information about this plot from my teacher.
A teacher.
Yes, the man who taught me the skills necessary to survive, and the meaning of justice.
This is the first time it occurs to me. I don't know much at all about his past. Of course, I know how he came to be in London and how he met Impy in Saint Germain. But I know nothing about his life prior to that. How did he come to decide that he wanted to stop these terrorists? And what made him become a thief in the first place?
I suppose I've never told you why I'm here right now, why I'm so desperate.
He sighs, then begins to tell me, almost absent-mindedly. He looks up at the moon with a wistful look in his eye. Oh, I don't think this whole story's going to fit in one episode.
I was just the sort of kid you could find anywhere. An orphan with no parents or family. I lived in Paris, pickpocketing every day just to get by. I guess I had talent for it. Lucky for me, I was never caught, not even once. I guess that's not completely true. I did get caught once. I think I was around 10 years old. I tried to grab a guy's wallet, but the moment I touched it, he grabbed my arm. I resisted, but it was all over, or so I thought. Instead of hauling me off to the police, he said to me, "You lack fundamental skills, but you have potential. I can teach you the real way to be a thief."
I have no idea what voice I should use for this.
That's how I met my teacher. He was one of those honorable thieves. He would steal from those who made their money dishonestly and pass it along to the poor.
So Robin Hood.
That was his job. I respected him. I was just a child, and I genuinely thought what he did was the most amazing thing in the world. I mean, I still do think that he was amazing. He never told me his name. I found it later on. Even now, I just think of him as my teacher. Yeah, I learned a lot from him. Infiltration, escape, theft, fraud, disguise. He taught me all the skills that come to mind when you think of thieves or spies. And then, I don't know when I asked him, why is he teaching me so much? And he told me, I have done many dark deeds. Some I did unknowingly, and others I committed fully aware of the evil I was doing. The reason why I steal for the poor, and why I'm teaching you the skills for survival, is to atone for my sins. I know that none of this will forgive me of my crimes, of course. And that's about it. He never told me any more about it. Instead, he would say, it doesn't matter whether there's believed to be right, but always abide by this. Protect your own definition of justice and faith with your very life. That is your only true guide to this world. It's what I was never able to do. These words struck me deeply, and they still hold great meaning to me, even to this day. As to who exactly my teacher was, I found that out much later. And that's right, long after that incident. Several years later, I trained and honed my skills under his tutelage. To be completely honest, I had far surpassed him in terms of pure technique. It was then I found out by coincidence. My teacher had stopped giving the money he stole to the poor. He had tricked me and taken advantage of me. He used the money I had stolen to create a criminal organization. It was a huge shock. I hadn't expected that at all. My body felt heavy as lead. My teacher had been like a father to me. For a person like that to betray you, you never know what'll happen in life. I tried to make him stop, but he wouldn't listen. He cut me out of his life instead. It happened on a rainy day, and then I was lost, not knowing what to do. The criminal organization that my teacher had created was one that preyed upon the weak, and that organization was operating off the money I had stolen. It troubled me a great deal. Then I made up my mind. My teacher taught me how to survive. He gave me a principle to live by. No matter how he betrays me, my heart will always feel awe and respect for him. What would the version of him that I feel in my heart do if he uncovered a criminal organization like that? When I thought of it that way, the answer was obvious. I will bring down this organization and open my teacher's eyes. I thought it was a brilliant idea. I thought we'd be able to start over again. I infiltrated the organization and stole all of their stored riches and found evidence of their crimes. I donated the money to several different orphanages and anonymously submitted the evidence to the police. But before the police could get involved, the organization collapsed in on itself. There was internal discord. It was because I had driven them into a tight corner. They started looking for a traitor amongst them and ultimately killed one another. Wow.
Oh, young Lupin.
I was at my teacher's deathbed. That was on a rainy day as well. Bad things happen when it rains. Always. He had been tossed into a back alley like an old rag. He looked like he'd been through some cruel torture, and he had a deep wound that seemed to be critical. I could see at a glance that they'd done terrible things to him. I thought he was already dead. But he looked at me and smiled. He said something to the effect of, "It's nice to know that you would shed tears for even someone like me." I pretended to be his son and made the arrangements for his funeral. And I organized his possessions that he had left behind. That's when I found out who my teacher truly was. It was in a handwritten note that I found among his things. My teacher had originally been an agent belonging to Twilight, a member of Britain's intelligence agency. It seems he was quite skilled, and he was ranked pretty high, too. I'd heard that Twilight was an excellent intelligence agency. His skills and knowledge were beyond those of an average person. I was surprised, but it also made a lot of sense. I remember exactly what the note said. I made my escape from Britain when I saw what Isaac Beckford's plan Code Realize entailed. It terrified me. I may have been able to stop it if I'd tried, and I can tell that the regret of giving up is slowly eating away at my soul. And here is what it said at the end. Isaac, I ran from that place so that I could stop him someday, and yet... No, perhaps it was inevitable that I would end up like this, since the moment I ran. My teacher had run away from some plan, and it haunted him. And I am his student. So, in order to carry out the justice that he'd never been able to, and to find out what this plan was that tortured him so badly, I came to London. You know the rest.
I realize by the tone in Lupin's voice that he's reached the end of his story. The origin of the great Arsene Lupin is something of a tragic story. I feel like I've touched on a part of his life.
It happened a long time ago. Cheer up. But do you understand now? I have my own reason for fighting.
A long time ago. He laughs and talks about it as if it doesn't affect him. But the story was probably not as easy to put in the past as he makes it seem. I can sense it just by looking at his face. Thank you for telling me. I understand why you would risk your life for this. Lupin looks at me and smiles.
All right, but I'm not done yet. I told you I have 2 reasons. Would you care to guess what the other one is?
Me! I spend a moment to think of what it could be, but I come up with nothing. I don't know.
Here's a hint then. What's the difference between a monster and a human?
I don't know what he means, but I instinctively flinch at the word monster. I don't know that either. I don't know what he's thinking, seeing me this way, but he has some kind of grimace as he speaks to me kindly.
Humans aren't people when they're born. They become human for the first time once they've truly loved someone. So it's about whether someone is capable of love or not. I think that's the difference between monsters and people.
Whether one can truly love or not. I think for a while, then look up. I think... Lupin, I love you. And Victor... Oh, god damn it, Cardia. Oh, Cardia, no. She should have left it at that. Why did you have to go on? And Victor, and Van Helsing, Impy, Saint Germain, Deli, and Cece too. I enjoy being with all of you so much, and I feel so at ease. Isn't that what love is?
That sounds nice and fun, but the kind of love I'm talking about is a little different.
Well, still, I think that kind of love she's talking about still makes you human anyway, even if it's not, you know, the one true love kind of love. Well, what do you mean?
It's the kind of I love you that you give to that one special person you care about most in the world. You gladly give up everything you have just to see them smile. That's the sort of feeling I'm talking about.
I do have that. There is someone I feel that strongly for. Lupin is looking down on me kindly beneath the moonlight. A feeling both comforting and painful is spreading in my heart. I would gladly give everything I have, everything in the world, if that special feeling is what it means to love someone. Then, when I think of someone and feel that way, it means he's the one I... Lupin, is there anyone you feel this way towards?
Yes, there is.
When I hear that, my chest tightens, and I feel like I'm suffocating. And then I realize... It's because I want to be Lupin's special someone. I want him to say that he loves me. That's why it becomes so painful to stay by his side. It's because I've realized there is no way a monster like me could be good enough for someone like him.
I do love someone. I wouldn't even think twice about giving my life for that one person. That's the other reason I'm fighting.
His voice is soft and gentle. His words exude warmth, like they're wrapping themselves around something. I genuinely feel that I envy this person. How happy that person must be to be loved by him, staying by his side, talking with him, and laughing with him. How full their hearts must be, with their endless conversations and his smile.
That person, she's a little timid and cries a lot. I can't keep my eyes off her when we're together.
I don't want to hear this, but I can't bring myself to move away either.
She is really fearful when it comes to herself, but very brave when it's for the sake of other people.
His words are so warm. Even I can tell how much he loves this person. Lupin stops abruptly for a moment, as if debating something, then opens his mouth again after a short pause.
She's a foolish girl, who for some absurd reason has convinced herself that she's some kind of monster.
Huh?
At first, I just felt like I needed to keep an eye on her. She looked like she'd given up on everything. I thought she was like a doll, and I don't mean that in a good way. I became involved with her to further my own agenda. I guess what I decided to do in exchange was promise to make her smile.
His words spread through my heart. I can feel that warmth racing through my entire body, making me feel burning hot.
I can't pinpoint the moment when I fell in love with her.
This man always saves me.
It could have been when we first met, or perhaps I gradually fell in love as we spent more time together.
He really is.
Or maybe there wasn't any one particular moment when it just clicked, but this feeling is real, understand?
He's always there for me, to save me.
Human monster. Well, that stuff doesn't matter. I love you. I'm dead serious.
It occurs to me for the first time now. Every time Lupin has saved me, smiled at me, and lifted my spirits, I loved him a little bit more. I had grown to think of him as the most important person in this world.
Well, anyway, I just want to try and make her happy somehow. It's all I think about. So I'm going to tackle this issue seriously, with everything I've got. And these are my reasons for fighting. Do you understand everything now, my beloved princess?
He says this playfully, and I can't help but smile. I don't think you need to trouble yourself with making that person happy. She's probably already quite happy. She probably already knows how much you love her.
I'm honored.
Lupin, I never realized...
Realized what?
That I've been human for a long time now. And it's thanks to you, Lupin.
Is that so? I realized a long time ago that you're human.
He smiles mischievously, but I look down in embarrassment. But I'm happy. The sad, sullen feeling I had earlier has dissipated somewhat. I'm genuinely happy that Lupin is here next to me right now. I hope from the bottom of my heart that I can go on feeling this joy forever. Okay, and we're going to end that video right there. I had quite a few interruptions while I was recording that episode, so I'm not sure how long this one's going to be, but hopefully it's adequate. I hope to see you in my future videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.